What's going on, gang? Happy Friday, 17th today, and we got a banger for you. So what we got today, Gar?
So we've got a Belgian Dubel IPA. So we don't do many Belgians. We love a Belgian beer. I think one of our when we first started the brewery nearly 10 years ago now, one of our signature beers was NP10, which is a 10% Belgian beer, which was...
That was way back in the day. It was my dad's favorite beer, actually, and he keeps telling us to rebrew it. I remember probably, 10, 11 years ago still, back when me and Gaz were home brewing in the garage on the kit behind us. I used to love, and I remember quite vividly buying a case of this beer at Christmas time, a case of 24, cost me about 65 quid. And it was Flying Dog's Raging Bitch. And I think it's around an 8.3% Belgian double IPA. So we try to not recreate that, but this is our take on a very old school sort of style that you don't see a lot sort of these days.
We did do also as well, if you remember, we used to have one of our core beers, one of our flagship beers was Urban IPA that we used to do a lot on cask, wasn't it? About 5.5%, 5%. And we actually turned that into a Belgian IPA, didn't we? That was that was 9 years ago, I think. And,
I think we only brought that out on cask. It was that long ago. Yeah. Never made it to a bottle, I don't think.
Yeah, so we've always had a love for that sort of Belgian style beer. What does a Belgian beer give you? Well, it can kind of depend, really. We've mixed it up. You know, this is kind of a hop forward one, but it does have that kind of Belgian backbone to it with the yeast. I mean, you smell it on the nose, you kind of get that.
Really fruity and spicy.
Yeah, it is a lot of spice to it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit medicinal on it as well, kind of on the back end. But it is also about the hops. We use Mandarin, Bavaria in there, and Cashmere. So that Mandarin will kind of contribute a bit more fruitiness, a bit more citrus and orangey-like flavours. It's nice and it's different, isn't it? And I think that's the best thing about it is within this calendar we can try so many different styles of beer that we don't do that often. And
I think adding a different yeast away from just a USA or an English sort of strain to an IPA just gives it something a lot more complex, something really different, something really interesting as well. You know, you can only take IPA so far, and I think just by changing the yeast rather than messing around with hops all the time does give it something that little bit different that you don't see quite too often.
And it's important to complement the hops with the yeast as well, isn't it? And I think the brew team have done such a good job with this, with the kind of Mandarin Bavaria in it, and it's a real good addition. It's not a hop that's kind of in your face, but it's more of a kind of has that more kind of tangerine kind of thing going on with it.
Definitely, yeah. Really drinkable. Yeah. Really drinkable.
It sits well. So
guys, happy Friday.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good weekend.